I asked Abraham if it's all even, I'd like to go first.
Yeah.
So that's always fun.
And you were the only one that put it that way. In other words, did you feel that basket? Let's talk about, can you feel the perfection of the placement of that basket? He wasn't wanting to be the smartest one in the room. It wasn't a competitive thing. What a light touch he had on that. A desire that he's had, and he just put a nice light touch on that, which put him in the sweet spot.
I had a couple examples where, I think it was Santa Fe, where I thought, ooh, that'd be fun to go first, but I trust the beautiful alignment of other discussions that could cue up my question even better. So, there's no problem, but if I could go first. And then, so it was the first time I played with the idea, and then it was just so cool to see you, point right at me, and I just knew, whoa, they heard me. And so now I have life experience of saying, of course, I'm not going to sacrifice my bliss if I don't even get called at all, but if it would be fun to go first.
And even better, it's just between you and the universe. In other words, we know that in a finite situation like this where there are a lot of people, and Esther was playing with you about how the odds are, you're not going to get called on when you look at odds, but there are no odds in this attraction-based universe. It's just between your desire and your belief, that's all. Those are the only factors. There's no competition anywhere. There are enough resources, the commerce, the blessings, the stuff, the manifestations expand exponentially with the life that causes you to ask for them. So
desire and belief, as I've been listening to you, that's been coming up more and more. And I had an experience where even though I was asking for something, I was putting out the basket to others, it would seem really far out. It felt like the next logical step. Someone told me about a book, and they said it's kind of like play with this idea of asking the heavens, so I would just say non-physical, specific roles, as if they had their jobs when they were physical and now they're non-physical and they want to play with us. So anything you can dream up, play with this idea of hiring the heavens for anything you can even think of. And so I just thought that was such a fun, a slightly new angle. I mean, Abraham's been talking about that idea in different ways forever, but it just was re-inspired to me. And I sat down with my notebook and I just started writing. And I thought, this is such a fun thing. And it felt logical. And I also feel like I manifested, I didn't think this thought to have as my hiring of the heavens, but it was given to me in such a way, in the maximum way that I could believe it. And the wording was...
Those are important words. We're going to jump all over those in a minute.
So the wording that came to me was, or that I received was, I want to hire an auditor to go through, to scan the earth and the universe to find money that is either owed me or is available to me. I want them to locate it, extract it, process it, and deposit it into my account. And I was like, and it felt in my body, I felt like that is so fun.
That's because you're a human used to justifying the good stuff that comes to you through hard work and unnecessary labor.
Wait, what?
We're just playing with you.
No, I've been doing that, and so in the past, and so this felt like I love myself, I feel worthy, and that it seems believable.
Any game that you play, we could say that this is a way of placing your basket. We want to play with you just a little bit because we're talking about the vortex, and we spend quite a bit of conversation wanting you to feel. In fact, the whole first 20 minutes was getting your attention about the magnificence, the beyond comprehension. We use that word a few times, beyond comprehension, magnificence of it. And so when you're assigning things to the heavens from your physical format, you've put a limitation on them that is not necessary. In other words, you're only letting it unfold as far as you can understand it. You might as well be doing the hard work yourself.
Interesting. I looked at it as I'm going to delegate it to the universe and then release it. And I don't know how or where they're going to find it, and I want to get all the juice that you're providing.
We are not wanting to throw cold water on anything that's working for you. We just don't want you to step back from understanding that when you ask, it is given. We know that's a hard thing for you to hear. You're saying, okay, it'll be given, and it's somewhere on the earth, and an auditor will go and find it. And it has to have already been mine or the auditor can't give it to me. And so we just are playing with you a little bit to say, you might have just complicated it a little bit more, but maybe you needed that complication in order to believe it. And that is actually what finding that sweet spot is. We just know you to have been way past that. And we see that as an attempt at regression that you can't make.
Interesting. What about the part, or that's just available to me? That feels very general and like I don't know the how of it. But any money that's available to me, bring it to me.
Means any money that I want, that I believe. Because that's what the word available means. It's available for manifestation when I want it and expect it. When I want it and expect it. Maybe hiring all of these. In other words, we're all sort of scrambling around and trying to get in position. I'll be the auditor. We're playing with. Can't we just attract it for him? Do we have to wear costumes?
Apparently, yes.
Can't we just focus on it and let it come? We want to tell you all a story about placing your basket. And Esther's having a lot of fun with this, with herself and with a few friends that she talks with on the telephone and such. And so the other day, a friend of hers who she speaks with frequently on the phone and has done for a long time. They've been decades-long friends. And this girl is steeped in Abraham. She listens to everything she can get her hands on. And so she's up to speed with what we've just been talking about in the last broadcast or in the last seminar. And so she called Esther and she had two subjects that she wanted to talk about. And one of them was a concern about a friendship that she has. And we're not going to go into detail about that. It's private and it's unnecessary to what you're going to get out of this. But Esther could feel the struggle in that conversation. And then she said, and I have something else to tell you. And she talked about a ring that Esther has seen on many occasions. She wears two rings together. And one of them is a ring with one stone. Not very big stone. Maybe it's the size of a pea. It's like a beautiful blue aquamarine, beautiful ring. And the other one has two smaller stones in it that wraps around a finger. And Esther has known her to have that ring on her finger for decades. Her husband, who is now in non-physical, presented that ring to her, and so she always wears these rings. And then a few months ago, one of the stones fell out of one of the rings, and Esther knew about that because they talked about it. But she has a friend who is a very good jeweler who lives near San Francisco, who has agreed to find her a stone and at no charge to replace it. And so all of this wonderful conversation months ago about replacing the stone, but about this dear person who was willing to do it and that friendship, so much nice conversation about all of that. And so Esther was well steeped in this story. And now her friend is saying, the other night, I was at a place where they are playing music and there is a band on the stage and people are dancing and eating. And at the end of a long night, the drummer was going around to the tables and he came up to our table and he said, does this belong to any of you? And it was a tiny little stone. She didn't even know it was missing, but it was. And she said, talk about a needle in a haystack. The odds of that are just incomprehensible. All those people and all that motion and all that music and all that dancing. And he looked right at it and brought it right to her. And Esther has been playing this game with herself where she's thinking about a subject and then just making statements about it and then putting them in order of more allowing and less allowing to see where her sweet spot is. So Esther's been playing this game with herself. And Esther said to her friend, we've got to play this game. And Esther says, and you don't have to say anything because I know enough about you and this ring. I can fill in all these 12 spots that I want to fill in, and then we'll put them in order. So Esther just wrote things like, your darling gave you this ring, and you've loved it, and you've worn it forever, and it's something that you always wear, and it's something that you always love it when you wear it, and it's something that others always look forward to when they see it, and it's something that this nice girl replaced, and it's something that came right back to you. And Esther had no problem. She typed it into her template so fast, and then she put it in order, and she said to her friend, look at this. There's no resistance on this list, none whatsoever. There was not one thought of resistance about that ring or about that stone. Not one thought. Of course it came right back to you. Of course it came right back to you. Now let's play the game with your friend. The other subject. Oh, not so fresh and clean. Disappointment hurt my feelings, didn't you know? Almost the opposite. And Esther said, sitting there with goosebumps all over her friend too, has there ever been anything more obvious than how you feel about this and what happens and how you feel about this and what happens? And the thing is, Sometimes people want to say, in fact, Esther's friend wanted to say, she wanted to defend because she saw how good she was doing with this and wanted to defend why she wasn't doing better with the other. And Esther says, we don't have to explain anything to anybody. We just have to acknowledge how we feel and then acknowledge what's coming to us in response to how we feel. And then we can adjust our feeling if we decide to. And then Esther said something that we've been saying to Esther and to all of you so intensely lately. Humans, we love you so much. You find yourself in the middle of a feeling, and then you spend so much of your time justifying or rationalizing why you feel this way. And that's a little bit what we were getting at with you. You were sort of justifying that it comes to you through action. You're assigning action to non-physical.
It seemed to work. But I want it to work better, so that's fine. I don't have to do that.
Well, it feels better than you breaking your neck to make things happen. We get that. It does feel good. But how can we convince you that you don't need an auditor, you just need a desire? And the less you try to fill in the blanks yourself with how it's going to come about, the greater probability that you will leave your resistance behind. Because there was that auditor that scammed people, and then there was that auditor that doesn't show up for work, and then there's that auditor that's crooked. Auditor is not really a pure thing, necessarily. The less factors you put in the mix that you're likely to trip over, the purer your point of attraction is. We really want you to hear us when we say your inner being is a pure point of attraction for you. So it is simpler than telling your inner being everything you'd like it to do on your behalf. It's like this. You know what I want because you've been living with me. And all through life, I've been telling you, and you know better than I do. And you know the combination of it. And you know where I stand in relationship to everything. You know it. Go do your thing. Go do your thing. I'm going to stay out of that. This is the universe's side. Go do your thing. And what's my thing? What's my thing? Find the sweet spot. Find things that feel good. Find things that feel like prosperity. Notice things that feel prosperous. Or notice the abundance that comes to me that requires no financial equivalent. Well, I'm going to the beach. Take my debit card. Got to pay for the sand. Do I want a cloudy day or a sunshiny day? Cloudy is $100. Sunshiny is $5,000. Cloudy day it is. A cloudy day. Not a lot of sand. I don't need a lot of sand. I'd like a quiet beach. Quiet beach, $1 million. All of Los Angeles there with me. $10. I'll pay the $10. We don't mean to be making fun of you, but it's so easy. It really is simpler. It's so much simpler. So what you're saying to us is, I want to find a way of giving myself permission. Everything I'm doing, Abraham, is stuff that I thought you told us to do. I'm just wanting to find a way to let in what I want. And we say, first of all, it's easy. It's not hard work. It's trusting. It's trusting, not hoping. It's believing, not doubting. It's easy, not hard. It's light touch, not heavy touch. It's an emotional target you're looking for. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I wanted to kind of go from what I experienced that was cool to something beyond. Like, okay, now what am I ready for next? And you just did that.
So with Esther's friend, what that game, what that example, what that opportunity gave to both Esther's friend and Esther. What an easy existing match that one was. There's no resistance in some things. Those are your easy existing matches. An auditor, not such an easy existing match. So you don't have to stay on the topic of your desire. You want to stay on the topic of your emotion. Because you've already pinpointed the desire and your inner being has got it well documented and well managed. All you got to do is find a frequency that doesn't hold you apart from that. Just find somebody to love and think about them today. Just remember somebody that just rings your bells big time and focus on that. Or the last time you had dinner with a bunch of friends and laughed so hard that you could hardly stand it. Where your stomach actually hurt. You felt like you'd been to Pilates.